At the risk of sounding like a creepy teenage boy, tell me more about your friend Ryo Nakamura. What do I want to know? Let's walk and talk, shall we? It is getting rather dark. Well, darker than usual, I should say. I have no doubt that this place will be crawling with hungry creatures soon, and it's best if we get to shelter before then, don't you think? I thought so. Now, as for what I'd like to know about her, was she the type of person who would wander into a forest that was largely known for being dangerous? Not usually. And what is that supposed to mean? You have a rather guilty look on your face. What exactly aren't you telling me? Someone might have dared her to come in here? And who on earth would do that? Really? So our little detective has a dark past, do they? You and a few of your classmates decided that it would be funny? You didn't think she would really do it? You were just joking around? Well, I suppose I can understand that. However, I don't understand why she would come in here. Unless, of course, she believed that the rumors were false? Oh, I see. That's what started the conversation in the first place. Let me guess. She said that she didn't believe this place was dangerous, so you decided to see if she really believed that by sending her in here. How did I figure that out? Let's just say humans have always been rather predictable creatures. For instance, if someone says they don't believe in something, usually that leads to their peers telling them to prove that it isn't true, or prove that they're lying about not believing in something. Indeed, it does happen to even the smartest of humans, especially those who are often swayed by peer pressure. How many of your classmates joined you in telling her to do this? Only 3? Tell me, though, were those 3 perhaps rather popular in school or in your class? They weren't. Well then, why would she bother listening to them? Or do you think she was mostly listening to you? You can't be sure? Or you don't want to be sure? You can't be sure. Well, I suppose that is fair. Although, tell me more about these other students who are joining you. Were they perhaps intimidating? A little bit. Explain. Oh, I see. One of them has been known to have a rather short temper. And he's one of the bigger students in your class. Well, that would certainly explain some things. Perhaps she wanted to simultaneously impress you while also avoiding a potential beating, if that student happens to be the beating type. You can't be sure about that either. And why not? He's never actually attacked anyone, only made threats. Even so, it certainly is better to be safe than sorry. And did you perhaps tell her to just walk a few steps into the forest? You told her to only take about 5 steps. And what did the other students say? They told her to keep walking until she couldn't be seen? Did you try to talk her out of it? then it sounds like you did everything you could at the time. Honestly, you shouldn't blame yourself. After all, this is what teenagers do. They dare each other to go into creepy locations or dangerous locations, and then, when someone winds up getting hurt, they feel like it's all their fault. However, none of you really believed that this place was dangerous, did you? At least not that dangerous. I thought so. No one ever believes it until it's too late, do they? Indeed, it is the tragedy of human ways, and it is a bit entertaining sometimes. Not always this tragic, but it is sometimes fun to watch certain idiots run into the forest and then meet their untimely demise. What kind of people am I referring to? Well, usually the people who believe that this place harbors dangerous creatures, but they somehow think that they're strong enough to fight us. Now those people, it's rather fun to watch them charge in, guns blazing. Actually, not even guns. They just bring flashlights and pocket knives to try and subdue us. Yes, those idiots often get what's coming to them, and personally, don't get me wrong, I'm not often fond of murder, but they do ask for it in that case. Oh yes, I know, you should never say that about someone who gets killed, but they literally charge in, believing that there are dangerous creatures and expecting a pocket knife to be enough to protect them. Maybe they just think that they're that strong? Would you be saying that if they tried to, I don't know, confront a bear in the same manner? I didn't think so. You would say they walked right into it and that they had it coming. So what's so different here? It just feels wrong to say it. Perhaps because you feel like I'm talking about your friend? Maybe just a little? Well, I promise you, I don't believe that your friend deserved to die. I think that she was just intimidated into coming in here. I don't think that she actually believed she could fight us off. However, I do have to wonder, why not leave the forest shortly after entering? And once those 3 jerks were satisfied, why not come back and go home? You thought you saw her leave. Why do you say you think you saw her? Something came running out of the forest screaming? It looked like her? Oh dear. Oh no, I'm sure it's nothing. Although, there are some creatures in this forest that can change their shape. Oh yes, they are rather mischievous. Harmless, though. Let me guess. Those other 3 students started laughing and you ran after your friends, didn't you? You tried to confront her, tried to ask her why she was so upset. She turned a corner and when you followed, she was gone? I see. And you didn't think to go back and check the forest? Oh, the corner the creature had turned down was her road? You thought she'd just gotten home. And how did you not realize until the next day that she wasn't all right? She was merely absent from school. I see. Let me guess then. You thought maybe she was too freaked out to go to school or that she'd gotten sick? Well, that makes sense. Did you tell anyone that she'd gone into the forest? You told your teacher. And what did your teacher do? He immediately contacted her parents. I'm guessing then that they confirmed she hadn't come home? I see. You really shouldn't be saying that, you know. It isn't all your fault. Like I said, you were just kids being kids. Humans do this kind of thing all the time. You didn't force her to go in, you tried to tell her not to go too far. And then you just got tricked by something. Under the circumstances, you did everything that was right. The only thing that you could have done that would be more than what you did would be going into the forest after her. However, I get the feeling that would have ended even worse than it did now. Well, let's face it, since something was able to kill your friend in the manner that it did, it would have done the same thing to you. And then you'd both be gone. And no one would know what really happened to her, would they? That's the story you're trying to tell, right? Precisely. So stop blaming yourself and do her a favor. Find out what really happened to her. That's all you can do for her now. So focus on that, okay? Do I know of anything that could drown her on dry land? Well, unless her body was moved, there is one thing I've heard a legend about. Are you really sure you want to know? Well then, there is supposedly a witch that lives in these woods. She lures children deeper and deeper into the darkness until they can't see their own hand in front of their face. And then she kills them. Why does she do that? Some people like to say that it's so she can steal their souls. Other people say she gets annoyed by children. They're too loud, even from outside the forest. But other people say that she doesn't really drown them. It just looks like she does. What she does is much, much worse. What does she do? Well, this is all just a story, bear that in mind. I've never actually seen a witch in these woods, but if she's hiding, using her magic, I certainly wouldn't be able to see her, would I? That said, people say that she sucks the life out of them so that she can live forever. Why do it to children? They have their whole lives ahead of them, you say. That's precisely why she does it. They have so much life left within them, nothing like what adults have. So they are the perfect targets. And besides, looking at you and your friend, who do you think is more likely to walk into a forest and stumble upon a witch? A child or an adult?